We are now officially recording.
Okay.
So talking about what you just said, so if you want to repeat, Ron, the whole magnum opus and that sense of serenity.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's because I mean, so magnum opus is this idea of this thing that, you got the picture of the mountain on the slide there, right? And it's that thing at the top of the mountain, and everybody has their own little magnum opus, and it doesn't. Yeah, it could be building a company. It could be being a great parent. It could be writing a book. It doesn't have to be physical. It could just be achieving the serenity that you were talking about, enlightenment, being mindful. But the idea is to start uncovering what your purpose is, and then start doing these passion projects, or these, tweaking your curiosity that moves you forward and allows you to discover your purpose.
It's funny to talk about passion projects, Ron, because I was actually thinking about you. Actually, I think it was today, because I've got my job, and it's got it's the list of projects I got to manage and run, and this and that and the other thing. But because I've expressed either through overtly or otherwise, I've now been invited on these two special projects. And it's so much fun because, and I was thinking, I said, I gotta let Ron know this, because we've talked about this on this journey, right? That if you've got that calm confidence, if you exude that vibrancy, right, people are just gonna call you for those special projects. And so I'm having at the time of my life right now, because I'm invited to this project, and they see the value add that I bring. And of course, I like to call it, I put my personal brand into it, because I like to joke around, but I don't say joke around and just saying, knock, knock, who's there? But I'm talking about, I'm making a connection with people. So one of the things that I've been doing lately, because I actually, and I know you know this, Ron, but I took a radio and TV broadcasting course, right? So for instance, on the Wednesday mornings, we have a program status update, and my program manager will do the first two slides, and it says, well, okay, so these are the budgets, and we're green, we're yellow, this and that. And now for the project details, your first up is Tony, right? And I go in, and I'll go do the whole, good morning Vietnam kind of routine. And people are saying to me, says, we're just coming because we want to hear that high energy. Says, what did you have this morning, right? And I said, well, you know what? I did a Tabata class. I got fully energized. I meditated. I'm ready to go. And it's becoming infectious that I'm proud of it, but I didn't do it for that reason. I did it personally just because I was having fun doing it. And now I'm getting people coming to my afternoon calls. Says, I'm just coming to the afternoon call to hear that guy I heard in the morning, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, because it's a good friend of mine had this, when someone says, how you doing? And he said, I'm okay, or whatever. And he would say magnificent. I think the word was magnificent. And the way he said it, it's like, shit, I want some of that. But it's this attitude, it's this edge piece, and that's really what we're going to try to cultivate through our work here. Tony, why don't we talk about the three themes that we're going to kind of work our way through? And
yeah, so the way our program is designed, Mike, is that first of all, if we talk about what are the challenges that people have in achieving anything, and achieving their dream, they're delivering a project, being a whatever, even being a good parent, right? And the challenges are, it's lack of passion, and it's just you don't have your heart into it, right? And that could be for many reasons, because one of the things I'm learning through working even with myself and others, passion could be you're just exhausted because you don't have the right habits, you're not eating well, you're not exercising, you're not sleeping. So that's where passion could come from, right? Lack of action. So it's funny because, Ron touched on this a moment ago. We're so, in touch with our devices that it becomes a shiny ball syndrome. And we think we're acting all the time, but we're really acting on nothing. Absolutely nothing.
yeah,
And so the action,
it's really like it's like striving for mediocrity.
right.
It's like we're masters of mediocrity is even a better way.
And so in the action goes hand in hand a little bit with focus as well, right? Because what happens is if you're so distracted with all the alerts, then you're not focused on that ultimate goal. So what is your ultimate goal? Is your ultimate goal to be more serene, to help 10 people, whatever that is, whatever we like to call it, the magnum opus, whatever that is for you, as long as you're not distracted with all this stuff, and if you've had good sleep habits and eating and so on and so forth, it's all intrinsic, right? And then sometimes it could be sabotaging beliefs or lack of beliefs, right? So you don't believe enough for yourself, and therefore, like I'm actually coaching someone right now who is considering to become, a judge in family law, but is self-sabotaging herself. And so I'm just, and it's a question of, you have the tools, you have the capabilities, you can do this, right? So it's doing all those works, right? So those are the challenges. And then the other challenges is that, the lack of influence. And lack of influence to us is, do you feel inhibited or shy, or to just speak out your thoughts? So one of the workshops in my passions pet project I'm working on today is cultivating a culture where there is intrinsic trust that we're actually changing words like, and this is typical project management stuff, right? So we're actually looking at changing words like, escalation process. Escalation has such a negative tone, and it's such, for most project managers, it's an allergy of aversion, right? And so what we're using is, what is the response path? So now it's changed. So now it's softer, so how, what is I think we call it the help response path, the help response. So it's no longer escalating. Escalating sounds terrible, right? The other thing is, the other thing was, continuous improvement. It's one of those buzzwords that's been in the industry for so long that I almost feel like people have a negative reaction to that word, right? So now, instead of saying continuous improvement, we're using words like, establishing trust of open communications on, maybe we can do something slightly better. But it's just this openness. So again, lack of influence is, do you feel comfortable doing all these things? So those are your challenges. So what Ron and I have done, we brought a program together, and we'll talk through some of these things on the screen, that really revolve around the three themes. And I see the three icons that we've kind of put together, and it really resonates with me. And then I get tingled inside. I get, these vibes that I can't even begin to tell you, but it's around energy, focus, and value. So the energy is everything you can imagine, right? Where are we putting our energy? The expression, where energy goes, energy flows, right? So that's what this is about. So this program that Ron and I want to put everybody through is to do that. Because then if we do that, to us, it's really improving the world and humanity as a whole, right? Where do you put your value? So we put the icon of a heart, because Ron and I are feminine enough, but we also want to make sure that we didn't, shy away anybody, all the masculine folks, right? So value.
Don't worry, I'm okay. You didn't shy me away.
What is it that you value? And value is really in here. You and I chatted about this a little bit, Mike, on our one-on-ones, right? Yeah. So if you can get out of your head.
Yeah, that's big.
Right? If you can get out of your head, get out of your ego, and you start doing things from the heart.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just got goosebumps a moment ago, just right now. But when you do things from the heart, it is powerful. So remember that, exuding what I said, the second is exuding that vibe, exuding that energy. It only comes because it's from here. Because if it's from here, nobody sees it.
Right.
Yeah, you can't fake that energy. If it's not sincere, it's not gonna resonate with people, right? Like, it has to be sincere.
Yeah, for sure. And the energy piece, I mean, is really around, those habits that we're doing. And we talked about the habits. The reason why I do a lot of the habits is so that it's energizing, right? Because we are creatures of habits, and you're basically getting rid of as much of the negative habits that you can that are draining your energy. Mm-hmm. And you're doing things that boost your energy, so that as you become the Energizer Bunny that Tony is.
Yes, and so the third theme, of course, is having focus, and hence the compass. What is your North Star? So where are you going, right? And so if you've got these, so these being our themes or dimensions of this program, things start to make sense. And you said a moment ago, Mike, one of the reasons why you came here is for personal growth. I think this is how we're going to touch personal growth. We're going to touch on each one of these dimensions, and I'm totally excited. I think this is where we're going to go. And then you see the mountain, and we'll talk more and more about the mountain later. But to me, the mountain.
It's actually, if you go, Mike, if you in the portal,
Yeah.
we talk about actually the 5 stages. There's actually some short videos just talking about each one of the stages of the mountain, kind of giving you a sense. And it all starts. You see how it's all kind of intertwined in all the various aspects.
Yeah, I see them right there. Cool.
And really all this is, and I'm just going to summarize it. I think the words are pretty much self-explanatory. So there's all these different stages starting from the bottom of the mountain, which is leading yourself. And I love this, and what I love about this picture and this icon, I remember a very good dear friend of mine and my mentor many years ago, who unfortunately passed away last year. But one of the things he said to me, and I was a young manager at the time, and he said to me, Tony, says, if you cannot lead yourself because you don't believe in yourself, then how in the heck can you lead a team and have them believe in you? And those words have stuck with me and continue to resonate with me every day, absolutely every day. So that's where it starts. So if you can take care of yourself, you believe in yourself, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Just like the reverse is totally true as well, right? And so in believing yourself, and so some of the things you need to do, and we're going to touch on this, and Ron touched on a moment ago, is all those positive habits you need to install or instill in yourself. The being mindful, meditating, sleeping, and on and on and on and on, right? Anyways, as you progress through the mountain, now you've taken care of yourself. You can now start to lead your life, and as you lead your life, in a positive way, where you're exuding that calm confidence, you're exuding energy, you're exuding value, you can start getting into, now your work has purpose, because at the end of the day, I'm looking at my personal career as a project manager, and I remember how I did it when I first started. It was all about, and I'm sure we can all relate, it was all check boxes and check, 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 check. But there was no humanity in that checklist.
No, not at all.
Right. And whereas where I do the same job today, but today my job is slightly different. I still do the checks because that's what we're asked to do, but I do it from a human connection. So I connect with people. So this is where leading your work comes into play. And then we touched on a moment ago, it becomes infectious because now people see it. I actually got asked the question today, how do we replicate what you do so that my other PMs can do the same thing? It's a compliment. I love it, but I'm not doing it for the compliment. I do it because I just love doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So as you get there, leading your tribe, it's funny because people will see the words and they'll think, well, what the hell does that mean? I'm not, whatever. But to me, a tribe can be as simple as your family, your network of people, that your friends, that you through your actions, through your being, you're actually influencing other people.
Yeah, well, it's really it's good. We talked earlier about we're very social creatures, right? And each one of those social groups is a community, right? That's what we mean by tribe, right? So there's your work tribe, there's your family tribe, there's this is a tribe, right? It's a group because we're a common piece. The people that you go and your workout with, that you guys talk about, that's a tribe. Each part has their each group, and it's how you bringing the best out of everybody in those situations, right? I'm sure we've all been in those meetings where the so-called leader in the room, you bring something up and then you get shot down, and it just sucks the energy out of the room, and everyone says, I'm not going to stick my neck out anymore.
I'm done with this meeting.
Yeah. It's right. We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
And it's it's, and we all have these horror stories, and we don't want to be that leader, right? We don't want to be that leader.
No.
Anyway.
No.
And that's interesting, Ron, right? Because so the other conversation I know you and I have had, and I had this conversation actually just a couple of days ago with someone, near and dear to me, when I said, so to your point in that setting, and the person says to me, but I'm not a leader. I said, why are you not a leader? Well, because I'm not a manager. Well, manager and leader are not the same thing.
No.
To me, a leader is a leader.
Not the same. Yeah. See, and it's, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Go for it,
You'll
Ron,
never
go.
be like, yeah. See, yeah. It's, I'm going to get on my soapbox again. So I'm not going to rant too much, but leadership is real. It's that self-confidence to raise your hand, and to lead. And it starts with leading yourself. Yeah, so I could go on for hours, so I won't. I'm just going to calm back down. Tony, refocus us.
Okay, so we're going to refocus. So the last stage here is, the legacy. So which is what we're talking about, right? So what is the legacy we leave behind? And again, we don't do this because of ego. We do this, it's just exuding from us, right? And so it's about, the way I look at it, and believe it or not, I do look at it this way, and it's not to be morbid, but it's about, when my last day comes, what would I want people to say? Hey, Tony had this kind of impact on my life. And it's funny, when I started thinking that way, it's been now maybe 5-7 years that I've been starting to think that, the way I approach every day is different.
Yeah, I'm getting at the age now where my uncles and aunts and extended family, people are starting to pass, right? And I go to some of these funerals, and you can really kind of measure the legacy by the side, like what's the state of the funeral, right? I was at one, there was maybe 15 people at, and I thought, oh my God, I don't want 15 people at mine, right? But some are just like, they're like celebrations.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh, well, so, but that, you don't, to get that, it's the behaviors that we do every day, right? Yeah, it's and once again, you're not doing it for ego. You're doing it because you've put that ripple in the pond. That's just the kind of, and you're just doing the good stuff, and that's just rippling. And the next person, it's. I remember maybe it was about a year ago. Well, actually, I guess maybe it was a couple of years ago now, because it was way before pre-COVID. But I got an email from someone that had read one of my, I've been doing a lot of this stuff on the, started like 20 years ago. I've been doing this, just on maybe probably even longer than that. But he was at one of my, his mom was at one of my speaking events and gave him this little thing that she had passed on, this little booklet that I had handed out or whatever. And he was using some of these techniques to get in. It's just like, holy Jesus. Like first, I can't believe you read it. It was so crap. I mean, it was so old, but it starts off, you start off putting that stuff out in there, and it just gets better and better and better. And that's the legacy aspect of it, right?
Yeah. So I have a similar example, and that I've been mentoring and coaching naturally just because I love to help people, right? So, we call them proteges or otherwise, but what I love is I still have people till now that still reach out to me, even, and thanks to LinkedIn, because sometimes emails changes and whatnot, right? But so thanks to LinkedIn, we can still stay connected. And I have this one individual actually just reached out to me just recently, about a month ago, and would say, hey, Tony, let's connect. And so we'll connect. And he says, I still remember, when you were my director and you were coaching me on certain things on how to behave and how to be as a leader, as a manager. Says he's now director actually at Deloitte.
Wow.
And he says, I'm still applying what you taught me, but I put my own personal brand to it. And I said, I love that. Nothing makes me happier, right?
Yeah. So true. So true.
I'm sure you have some of those stories as well, Mike, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, just, being able to help someone understand human nature a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of like, we had a really dissatisfied customer this week, and he really, you know, he sent out a really nasty email, and I said, Bob wants to be heard. Like, this isn't about his displeasure with, I don't know what this is about. No one should be this angry about what Bob's angry about, but he wants to be heard. And it was like, let's get a meeting with him, and we'll call him, and and just to be able to instill that in someone, to go, this isn't about anything other than Bob feels like he's not being heard. He's not being taken serious.
Yeah.
Let's listen to him, right? And those are the types of things. It's like, you'll remember that next time when someone is freaking out for something. What is it? The reaction doesn't match.
Yeah, yeah, it's an overreaction.
Yeah, such an
to the event. It's
overreaction.
like, what was that? It's
Yeah,
well,
and you're like,
you missed the 20 other things before that just put them.
you missed that he had a big fight before he left the house this morning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, very much so.
That's great. So the other thing, Mike, that I want to share with you quickly is the bottom left of this. So as we talk about the themes, we've talked about the mountain, this journey that we're going to go through together is, the 5 stages, which is, the mountain that you just saw here. But then what are the 5 skills that you need to work on in order to achieve the path forward, right? So I call it the 5x5 matrix. And one of the first things is really clarifying your goals. What do you, and you do that only by articulating it. And one of the first things, and I know you're very familiar with this, Mike, which is, completing the Wheel of Life self-assessment. So we will do that, right? And I actually have now codified in a bit in a spreadsheet, but it really shows, what we talked about earlier, right? When your Wheel of Life is balanced, and the reason why they call it Wheel of Life, as you well know, Mike, is that if it's not balanced because it's jagged, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. It's not gonna be a fun ride, right? But when it starts to get balanced, then the ride is good. So when I talk about earlier about manifesting, and that's what I want to bottle here, is how do we help others manifest whatever it is that they want to achieve? It only comes as a result of your life being balanced, your Wheel of Life being balanced, right? Of course, actions, we talked about here, what are the challenges? So, completing a plan, the expression, right? You either plan to fail or you fail to plan. And I know it's an adage that we've all heard it a million times, but it's true though. It's true.
Yeah.
It goes back to those simple habits I was saying earlier. You top 3 priorities for the week. What's your number 1 thing for each day? And there's different variations of it, but the point is, there's a reason why gyms are full in January and empty in February.
Absolutely.
Right, because you plan, you have the New Year's resolution, and a couple weeks go in, but the real people that are going to stick with their goals are there in February.
Yeah.
Right. And that's really the point. It's what's that plan, the consistent action with what you're doing. And I love strategy. So the second thing on this list here is to strategize your actions. I love strategy. And Mike, that's what I want to kind of do for you, and Mark as well when he joins. Hopefully he's going to be watching this recording. Is to really kind of help you strategize. Figure out what the goals are, but what's the strategy that you're going to use to achieve it, and that's what we're here to support you on. So that's one of my passion topics. So I really hope to kind of get into that one.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm not going to necessarily walk through all of the cells.
Yeah, no, we don't want to do we don't want to do everything, but the 5 skills are clarify your goals, strategize your actions, upgrade your habits. So we're going to get into some of the habits that we're going to get into. Master the mindset, huge aspect of it. And then expanding your influence, right? That idea of the value aspect. So you can kind of see, and you know, there's boxes with each one, and as you kind of see how the progression. What we're just trying to show there's a logical progression in each of the 5 skills as you move up the mountain. We probably should be getting into homework of what
Yeah, exactly, right. So my motivation here and our motivation, Mike, is to show you that there's a lot of depth as well as breadth here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that you see that, and maybe here's, you know, a challenge for you. You know, give us, you know, 3 friends refer to join this club, this tribe, right? Because I think there's a lot of value here to be had, right?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
and that's a good point. Yeah, yes, and really, it's so yes. So we have an idea of what we want to be able to do and what we want to kind of take you through, but it's really an iterative process. So it's really going to evolve on you know, your input and, you know, where what about this? What about that piece? Well, you know, so I'm really looking forward to engagement from yourself and and Mark as well of what he's interested in, and as other people kind of join in as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely not a push. This is an interactive collaborative.
So we're here to be guides and kind of, you know, here, you know, we have our own philosophy, I guess, of how to do that. But it's meant to be fun. It's meant to push. It's meant to challenge. And the ultimate, we're meant to grow. So
Okay, yeah, I like it.
right.
So our theme for this session and next is well-being. So, you know, lifestyle by design, and therefore, you know, assess where you're at. We're going to talk about it in a second. Cast a vision and start developing some habits. So the homework that we're going to ask everybody to do, and even those who are going to be listening through the replay, is so join the next class. The next class is on March the 11th, which is 2 weeks from now, again, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Log into the portal. So there's a lot of stuff in the portal. I really encourage everybody to log in. I know Mark has already logged in at least several times. He's gone through some of the videos. So Mike, if you
We do know.
You know, Big Brother's watching.
We do know.
All right, I gotta go. I've got some videos to watch.
Big Brother's watching.
But joking aside, you know, we put a lot of heart into the materials. There's everything from videos to templates. So, you know, definitely do check them out. We actually have a whole bunch of videos just on the Wheel of Life, and they actually talk about each section of this pie, right? So the pie, as you know, is mind, body, emotions, work, money, relationships, and fun. And so the videos all talk about all through that. So download the template. There is both. I think. Did you post the spreadsheet version?
I haven't done the Excel yet, so we have to. I'll probably end up emailing the Excel. So we'll get.
Okay. So yeah. So it's out there, and then the next thing we'll do is we're going to release the goal setting template.
Yeah. So So next week it'll appear in the portal. We'll send an email out. So get through this week. Get through the Wheel of Life. Do the Wheel of Life assessment. And then we'll release the goal setting video, and it's only about 15-20 minutes. It's not that long, but there's a template associated with it. But it's really the work now that you take with that, because the idea is to start setting 1 or 2 goals. You know, somewhere you probably want somewhere 5 to 7 goals at the end of the piece.
Okay.
So you do the Wheel of Life that stimulates. Okay, well, what do I want? What's kind of realistic, right? And then you start setting some goals in those particular areas. And then when we come back, we're going to get into the 90-day plan. So we're going to strategizing some of the actions. So, and that's really just the first month, never mind what's going to come next. So
this is good. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah. No, you know what? I didn't really know what to expect coming into it, and you know what, this fits into really what I'm looking for too. As I said, I want to do something, that is for me, and I want to do something that is, helps me grow, right, as a human being, right? I mean, I love that. I love that. So yeah, I'm very happy that I logged in tonight and joined you guys. This is great.
Yeah, I know Tony and I are quite excited about it. So, and Tony was kind of joking a little bit, but bring 3 friends.
Yeah.
Seriously, like if you really like, because we're continuing, we hope to have have more people kind of join us as we kind of move along.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm really quite excited with I think there's a vision of what we want to kind of help people with, and I think Mike, you're talking earlier about I think before we had the recording on about when it really is the group.
Yeah.
Right. It's not about the individual. Right. So it's about that, so if you got people, you got the right energy for this group, you got to join. You got to, right. So have that radar on, because I know Tony and I are continuing doing that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny as we're talking about this and I'm running through my Rolodex in my head.
I love it.
Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? Right. So that's good. Right.
Yeah.
No, I love it. So yeah, that's I'm excited. I'm excited for growth. I'm excited to learn more. Just about how the goals that I set and actually the habits. The habits are one of the things that I'm really interested in. It's like creating these new neural pathways, right? And breaking down the bad ones.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get so I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to see the whiteboard there on on my screen. So that's my habits course. So so you're going to get a dry run through some of those aspects of it, right? Cool. So this is a passion of mine. So happy to pass on everything I know here. So.
Well, that's why. So here I've got to look in ahead. So we've talked about reviewing. So the next session we'll review everybody's wheel of life and your goals. We're going to introduce the 90-day plan, and we're going to start introducing.
Oh, you got a picture of the app there. Fantastic.
Of course, my friend. So this is the teaser, right? So, and did you see the 3 words? Energy, focus, values.
Yeah. So we got the habits all dialed in there, and
everything is connected. Everything's connected. So I hope this excites you even more, Mike, to bring along a few friends. But
oh, that's why I'm so pleased you put it on there. That's great.
Yeah. Very cool. No, I am actively thinking. I'll put some time into it too. I already have some people in mind, so yeah.
Because you know what I find, my experience, I'm sure yours is as well. Through voice. What's the word I'm looking for now? Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Through voice.
Through word of mouth is a lot more powerful than us sending us a bunch of presentation, especially because now you've experienced it personally. And Mark will experience the same thing. It's unfortunate that he couldn't join us today.
Yeah, I'll make a point. I'm going to reach out to Mark and maybe I'll do a one-on-one with him or something along.
I'll
try to connect so we can catch you up a little bit. And
hopefully, So hopefully this, obviously this resonated with you. And we're, like I said, we're repeating ourselves. We're totally stoked. We're happy you're here. We're here to help you grow, and hopefully we all grow as a community.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah,
we can have a ripple effect across.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, it's our own little legacy or our own little magnum opus that we're working on here. So
awesome.
Well, Tony, do we have to cover? I think we're done. Have we covered everything?
That's it.
That's fantastic. So, Mike, it was absolutely fantastic meeting you.
It was great meeting you, Ron. Yeah, and actually Maggie mentioned you a few weeks ago, and she said that she's like, Tony, because she knows that I know Tony well, and she goes, well, Tony's partnered up with a really smart guy, Ron, that I've known for a while, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, I have my own little reputation, which is fantastic. Cool. Yeah, well, because I'm pretty sure we went to coffee once or something to catching up, and because I was interested in, because I know she's got her own coaching thing that she was doing and whatnot.
She's quite busy with her own coaching, and then she's she's president of PDLG. So
yeah, that's right. Very good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyways, good night. Thank you so much. See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.
Good night.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.